Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, where we break down the biggest stories shaping our world today. In this video, we're diving into the sweeping changes President Donald Trump has made since starting his second term in office. From immigration to energy, education, and more, Trump has rolled out a flurry of executive orders and policies, many of which reverse the work of his predecessor, President Joe Biden. This isn't just a political story. These policy shifts affect real people, real industries, and even international relations. Whether you love him, hate him, or fall somewhere in between, the fact is these decisions will ripple across the country and beyond for years to come. Let's unpack all of this. But first, a quick disclaimer. Alright, before we jump in, I want to clarify that this video is based on publicly available information from trusted sources at the time of recording. I'm here to give you the facts and provide some analysis, but it's up to you to decide how you feel about these changes. With that said, let's get into it. Let's start with what exactly has been reversed. Since taking office, Trump has signed a series of executive orders and directives aimed at rolling back some of the key Biden-era policies. Here's a breakdown by category. Trump ended birthright citizenship for children of undocumented immigrants and temporary visa holders. This move is highly controversial and could face legal challenges. He reinstated the Remain in Mexico policy, requiring asylum seekers to wait in Mexico while their cases are processed in the U.S. Mexican drug cartels have been designated as terrorist organizations, allowing the U.S. to impose harsher sanctions and increase military action against them. Reactions have been polarizing. Supporters argue that these changes are necessary to secure the border and protect American jobs. Critics, however, claim these policies are inhumane and could lead to more humanitarian crises at the border. For example, immigration advocates say the Remain in Mexico policy exposes asylum seekers to dangerous conditions, including violence and exploitation. Trump pulled the U.S. out of the Paris Climate Accord again, arguing that the agreement unfairly burdens the U.S. while letting countries like China off the hook. A national energy emergency was declared to fast-track oil drilling permits, while federal incentives for electric vehicles were scrapped. New wind energy projects have been halted, with Trump citing concerns over aesthetics and inefficiency. These moves have a clear benefit for the fossil fuel industry, which is likely to see a resurgence. However, environmental groups are warning that this could set back efforts to combat climate change by decades. Many renewable energy workers fear job losses, while oil and gas workers feel reinvigorated by the administration's support. The U.S. has withdrawn from the World Health Organization, WHO, with Trump accusing the organization of being biased toward China and mismanaging the COVID-19 pandemic. Cuba was re-added to the state sponsors of terrorism list, and Trump removed sanctions on Israeli settlements in the West Bank. This has sparked mixed reactions. Health experts argue that leaving the WHO could weaken global health initiatives, especially in fighting pandemics. On the other hand, Trump supporters say it's a necessary step to hold international organizations accountable. Trump reinstated the federal hiring freeze, except for national security roles, and brought back the Schedule F initiative, which reduces job protections for certain federal employees. Diversity, equity, and inclusion DEI programs in the federal government have been eliminated. These moves are seen by conservatives as a way to streamline government and reduce bureaucracy. However, opponents argue that this undermines workforce morale and removes safeguards for marginalized groups in federal workplaces. So, how have people reacted? Unsurprisingly, the responses are divided. Trump supporters have largely praised these reversals. They see him as fulfilling his promise to put America first, securing the borders, protecting traditional values, and boosting the economy. Many Republicans believe these changes will restore America's leadership on the global stage by prioritizing strength over diplomacy. On the flip side, critics argue that these policies are regressive and harmful. Environmentalists, human rights groups, and some Democrats have called these moves a direct attack on progress made over the last few years. For example, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez tweeted, "The Paris Accord is not just about the environment, it's about the future of humanity." Trump's actions are reckless. Globally, the reactions have been mixed. European leaders who are committed to the Paris Agreement expressed disappointment over the U.S. exit. Meanwhile, Israel has welcomed Trump's policy shift on settlements, and some Latin American countries are bracing for stricter immigration enforcement. Let's talk about what these changes could mean for everyday Americans. For industries like oil and gas, this is a major win. Jobs in traditional energy sectors are likely to see a boost. The stricter immigration policies could reduce competition for low-skilled jobs, which some Americans see as a benefit. Environmental setbacks could increase the risks of climate-related disasters, costing the country billions in the long run. Critics argue that cutting DEI programs could lead to less diverse and inclusive workplaces, stalling social progress. What's next? Trump has hinted at even more changes, including potential reforms in healthcare and education. He's also expressed interest in introducing stricter regulations on big tech and social media companies. The big question is, will these policies stand up to legal challenges? Many of these executive orders are expected to face lawsuits, which could delay or block their implementation. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more in-depth breakdowns of today's biggest stories. And let me know in the comments, what do you think of Trump's policy reversals? Are they a step forward or a step back? I'll catch you in the next one.